Alrighty, welcome everybody. Olga is here, and I'm very, very excited, guys, to welcome you to Move Past a Toxic Relationship webinar. If you're just joining us, if you join in a few minutes later, totally fine. And just make sure that you can hear me, you can see me. Also, make sure that you mute yourself. I think we have a couple of people who haven't muted yet. So if you guys would do me a favor and do this. And Monica, I think that's you, my friend. So if you go to the bottom of the screen, there is a mute option. Go ahead and mute yourself. Perfect. Alrighty, well, let's begin. Thank you so much, guys, for being here, for being with me. I am very, very excited about this particular event. I've been teaching webinars for many years now. It's one of my favorite ways to help women. And early on, when I just started learning Fast GFT many, many years ago, Robert Smith says, start doing seminars, start doing webinars, because you can help more people. And this is essentially why I'm doing this. And before we begin with the materials itself, let's make sure that you are in the right place. So I've designed this webinar for you if you fall into one of the categories. So number one, if you're single and want to understand and release your unhealthy dating and relationship patterns, so you can move on, create something better, moving on. If you are already dating but not attracting the kind of man who matches your value, or maybe you are currently in relationships but thought at least once, more than once, about leaving it or try to leave it. And finally, if you have just left relationships or relationship ended and you're ready to deal with your steps so you don't bring it into the future. So make sure that you fall into one of these categories, that you maybe are in relationships but you're kind of not sure if this is a good match, or if you are ready to heal your patterns, then you're in the right place. Alrighty, so here's what we're going to learn today, guys. We're going to talk about difference and signs between healthy conflict and emotionally abusive relationships. One of the biggest questions that I get as I start working with clients is, Olga, is it normal or is it something that's really toxic? And so we're definitely going to go through some of the signs, especially the one that people often overlook. I will take you through my signature process that I only do with my private clients, the 4 steps to get over toxic relationships or to get over acts so you can really leave the past in the past. We'll talk about 6 core skills that I teach my clients to master in order to create a happier relationship moving forward. Or what I call it, how to never fall in love with a jerk again. Isn't that juicy? And finally, we will go through a tapping process together, of course, and we'll experience a scientifically proven technique, essentially, that's what it is, to help you release limiting fears and old patterns. So we'll do a tapping round at the end. If you guys are not familiar with tapping, just totally relax, and I'll take you through the process. Totally no worries. So stop lowering your standards. Stop the exhausting hustle of online of dating. Stop blaming yourself. So this class was created to help you make big internal changes. And so you can attract the kind of partner you want and deserve. And my deepest desire and hope that after this webinar, you will have tools to heal and manifest a deep and connected partner. I always let my participants know that at the end of the webinar, once I deliver on this promise, I'll offer you an option to get additional support from me so you can work with me one-on-one if this is what you call within my signature Tap into Love program. Alrighty, guys, so before I share a few insights on how to deal with toxic relationships and how I healed my patterns, let me tell you just a couple of words about myself. So you know what kind of even expertise or business do I have in teaching this stuff to you. So my name is Olga Bochareva. I currently live in Houston, Texas. It's a beautiful day outside. I am a relationships coach and advanced level 4 Fast GFT practitioner. I've been helping women with stress and emotions for over, 6 years now. For over 6 years, I've been doing this work. And I essentially work with conscious, smart women, and I help them create connected and supportive relationships, even after painful divorce or separation. If you're looking at the screen right now, you're seeing a picture of me with my 2 beautiful girls, Sophie and Vicky, and we had a wedding about half a year ago. This is when I got married second time, so this is my second marriage. And so essentially, I'm on a mission now after experiencing something like that, after seeing that, you know, second chance love is possible, and the kind of deep and wonderful relationship I'm essentially in right now, there's nothing you can do with your life rather than help others do the same. And so I would love to hear from you guys. So if you would be so kind and share with us your name and where you are. And also just kind of tell me, guys, where you are on this journey. Are you single? Are you married? Are you in relationships? Or are you dating? Now, you can also say neither. I have a client that I work with who is separated. So technically, she's not married. She's not ready to date. So we're working on some other things she want to clear. Just kind of find peace within. So whenever you are, guys, in this journey, just let me know. And on the bottom of the screen, you'll find a box that says, I think there's Q&A or there's notes from the chat. I think it's called chat on your screen, guys. It's a little bit different in mine. And just go ahead and type in there. It'll pop in here so I can take a look at that. Yes, it's chat. Fantastic. As you type in there, guys, I'll go ahead and move on. And I want to talk about the kind of women that I work with, which is essentially about you. A lot of people who come to me are smart, conscious, and accomplished women. They achieved a lot. They've done a lot. A lot of them are award-winning professionals. Now, many of them got their life together and just kind of ready to find the one and clear the old patterns. So often I hear from women that every other part of my life is going pretty great. It's just that one I can seem to figure out. They are the type of women who are not ready to settle for less than what they truly deserve. So it's better to have no relationships than mediocre one. And finally, you are the kind of woman who consciously want to clear your limiting beliefs and understand that there are some fears around relationships and men. And finally, you want to be with a man who can accept you as you are, with your strong personality, your perks, and all your successes. So let's talk just a little bit how to get the best out of this event, because I'll be very honest with you guys, the way how I do my webinars is slightly different from what majority of industry does. My webinars are very packed with helpful tips and information, and I give you just as much as I can give in an hour to an hour and a half time without me going into details of your journey. And these are become paid products. So I put them in a library, and so they're free for people who just join in, but later on they are actually full-blown programs or master classes. And so I want to inspire you guys. I want to encourage you to get to be present, to take notes, to participate. And I'm a big fan of saying you get what you put in, right? So turn off Facebook, your phone, etc. Stay tuned and stay until the end, guys. As promised, I have a free present for you for live participants only, so it's a really juicy one. And finally, ask questions. The only stupid question is the one that's never asked. I'll be checking the box often to just kind of see what you guys are saying. I would like for it to be more a conversation than me just kind of, reading a lecture or sharing things with you. So we have a couple of responses in the chat. So Monica is from Germany. Thank you, thank you. And she says, I'm divorced since January 2019. So that's pretty fresh. And yes, I don't look for new relationships. I want to clear my pattern. It is so funny, Monica. I was in your exact spot 2 years ago. And so what happened is, yeah, I just got divorced and I was clearing my pattern. And my story, I'm actually gonna, don't want to jump ahead of myself. Is that I also wasn't looking for relationships, but I wanted to start dating, but more on this later. So if you haven't got to share where you are and who you are, I would love to hear from you very much. And also, guys, it is a safe place for us girls to hang out and to connect and share. So please do share, because I notice group energy is contagious and we can really lift each other up. Now, another thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, what is your number one intention for this webinar? I would love for you to set an intention. So at the end of the hour, what would you like to accomplish? And you can say things like, I would like to understand some of my patterns. Or I would like to clear this feeling. I would like to release this memory or that experience. So whatever those things are, go ahead and set this intention and share it with me, because naturally I will help you there. And I love this quote so much. I use it with my clients probably more than any other quote. Remember, most people don't get what they want because they don't know what they want. You hear me, guys? Most people don't get what they want because they don't know what they want. So I want to encourage you guys to get clear on what is it that you want. What is what you want to get out of this webinar? What do you want to get out of your relationships? Now, as you are writing your intentions, guys, and sharing where you're from, I want to share really quickly my story and how I came about to do what I do. So the truth is, love didn't come to me easily, and even though I'm in a very happy marriage and beautiful with a beautiful, deep partner who's supportive, that it wasn't the case. For years, I actually felt quite unheard and very lonely in my marriage. I remember things like crying in a shower because I felt hopeless and helpless. I just really did not know what to do. That's how stuck I was. So that was a few years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when I actually started looking for help. And during 9 years of rather toxic marriage, I mean, there were good moments, but now looking back, I'm seeing things more clearly. I tried just about everything. So I tried to save the marriage. I did all kind of books and counselors and courses of 4 different marriage counselors. Oh, Sylvia, do me a favor, love. Would you mute yourself? I think we have a bit of sound coming down. Thank you, thank you. And so in January 2017, I finally went through divorce after trying just about everything to save the marriage. And it wasn't easy. It was a trying period of my life. My ex wasn't supportive. I was, a mom of 2 little ones. But I was kind of surprised how happy I felt once this emotionally abusive relationship was over. And the reason why I'm saying it, guys, because I was told that single mom is very difficult, very hard. Hold on to whatever man you can have. Don't go through divorce. Don't separate. And I was a single mom. I was living in a foreign country without any relatives and, not even a clear means to support my kids at that time. My ex wasn't supportive. And so it was a very interesting time to where I was genuinely learning how to love myself and how to be this peace with where I am, but at the same time, very liberating because I've made the step and everything started changing pretty much right away. So physically, I even felt better, and I lost like 30 pounds in 3 months once I, cleared this toxic relationship from my life. And in May 2017, which is like only 6 months after the divorce, I started dating. And it's so funny, guys, because my practitioner told me, Olga, you're not ready for relationships. Don't start dating yet. But I was like, I just want to go on a date. And so I went through a few dates, and it was a lot of fun, meeting new people and kind of getting to know them. But then I met Ernie, and he was the one, right? And he didn't quite look like the one when I met him. I actually thought that, no, it's not my type. But as we started getting together, he actually ended up being very close to the ideal man entry that I wrote in my journal. So I'm honored to call this man my husband now. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary. So yeah, in May 2017 we met. And so now you know a little bit about how I came to do the work that I do and why I'm so passionate about this. And so I've shared this quote at least 50 times all over the internet, and write this down, guys, and take a screenshot, because here's something that I deeply believe, and this is something I want you to be your North Star. The only true currency is love. You can always make more money. You may not see it now, but one day you look back and realize that all you ever wanted is to be heard, understood, and loved by another human being. And of course, this relationship comes from within and starts from within. And so as you are beginning this journey, the journey of clearing the past and clearing the toxic relationships from your life and building better high quality relationship with yourself first, I want to ask you, what's your big why? And the reason why I was asking these guys, because if your why is big enough, your how will appear. You will hear all the right answers in this webinar and everything that you're listening to, because your why is big enough to move you forward. So go ahead and write it down, guys, and I'll go ahead and look through some of the chat answers. Okay, so wonderful. So Aini said, I want to make my relationship even better, and I figure out how to send to you, Olga. Oh, okay, very good. Thank you so much for sharing, Aini. Yes, definitely, this is a good place to learn some of the things and how to improve your existing relationships. Now, as you're thinking about your big why, let me share mine. The truth is, guys, I came from a family of rather dysfunctional relationships. Like, I've never seen my mom and my dad, giggling or hugging or kissing in a good, healthy way, to where they would show, love and kind of attention or affection towards each other. It was very matter of fact. And I remember a case when my mom came from a trip and we were meeting her with the dad, and they didn't even kiss each other. And I was like 4 or 5, but even at that time I knew that that's not right. I don't know how I knew that, and so my first marriage wasn't quite what I would like it to be, even though at the beginning, of course, it looked like he was a perfect one. And so what ended up happening is at one point I made a decision. I want to change this pattern. I want to change the generational pattern of women in my family of guilt and mediocre, unsatisfied relationships. And I wanted to show my kids and people around me, people that I work with, my clients, that there is a better way of doing it. It's been a long journey, guys. It took me, at least 10 years, and I'm learning and growing every day. But if there's one thing that I'm genuinely proud of what's going on in my life right now, it's my relationship with my husband. And they say at the beginning it's all airy-fairy, and after about 6 weeks to 6 months, it kind of disappears and the reality hits. And we have some of those things too. And I'll talk to you guys about this. What is healthy relationships looks like, right? It's not the Cinderella story. It's not what it looks like in the movies and songs. There are some things you have to deal with. But I can genuinely tell you guys that 80% of the time, I'm happy, satisfied, I can be myself, I feel supported, and we learn and grow together. So this is my big why behind my work. This is why I do what I do, guys. And we're going to go ahead and jump into the subject of the webinar right now. And this is the email that I got from one of my clients. Cheryl, I'm so glad you're doing this webinar, because when I was in toxic relationships, I remember second guessing myself whether or not I'm even in one. She said, I remember I was always ignoring my gut feeling until no, it's not toxic and I cannot leave. And of course he was, confirming that. So it kept me stuck for years. I wish I had somebody who would help me understand it better. But I also had a husband who said, you was a problem, not me. And so she said, I know a lot of women don't recognize it and don't know the difference during marriage or courtship. And so she said, Olga, talk about how do you know, what's the difference between them? And so I wanted to start with first getting very clear around how can you figure out, and of course, guys, all the cases are different, and we all have some toxic tendencies, right? Like even I'm not 100% healthy all the time. But what we're looking for here, guys, is something that's happening on a daily basis or on a consistent basis. Let's talk about 7 signs of an emotionally toxic person. Before I dive in, guys, if you have any questions at any moment of time, just type in the chat. If you don't want your name to be known, just make it private and goes directly to me, and I can answer this question on the call without mentioning your name. So the first sign that you are with an emotionally toxic relationship is that it seems like you cannot do anything right. It's like you feel like you've done a good job and you feel like you're a good mom and you made a good dinner, but it's just somehow, it's never right. There's criticism and more criticism and more criticism. So that's the first sign. The second sign is everything about them and never about you. So this is a very narcissistic trait. That's very emotionally unavailable trait. But if you're starting to notice that there's just a lot of selfishness going on, right? And then the person that you're with, he just displays this quality of somebody who's very immature. That's another sign. Number 3, you find yourself unable to enjoy even good times with a person. This is huge, guys. I remember when I was trying to repair my relationship with an ex, the marriage counselor I was been going to the time said, well, do a date night. Man, this woman didn't know what she was talking about. And so I learned so much from my marriage counselor so what not to do. And so we did, right? We went on a date night and it was a disaster. It was so bad. Like what I would wish what she would tell me, work on your guilt patterns, how do you feel guilty, right? So that didn't happen until I had a good fast safety practitioner. Fourth thing, you're not allowed to grow or change. Every sign of you going to a conference, you taking a class, you learning something new feels like a threat. They're usually upset, they're usually not happy with this. So if you guys start noticing any of the signs in the people around you, go ahead and share it in the chat, and you can just put a number, yep, 1 or yep, 2. I'm really, really curious, guys, if this is something that you're observing. Finally, number 5, they are expert blamers. They know how to blame and they are really good at it. Sometimes they do it in a very sneaky way. For example, let's say a wife decided to go back to school and a husband kind of supported her. But next thing you know, he often mentions how kids miss her, how the dinner is not hot enough, and how dishes are not washed. So if you're starting to notice these patterns when constantly being blamed, that's a sign. Number 6, they are emotionally or physically abusive. I have a question that came in yesterday from someone who will be joining for replay, but she cannot join live. But she said, Olga, something happened, and I'll share this at the end, guys, because she had a specific question, and this is pretty abusive. And here's my personal policy when it comes to physical abuse. I have zero tolerance for physical abuse. My personal belief and advice to my clients, if you are in a physically abusive relationships, leave and don't look back. Now, there are very rare instances when it's one occasion. Then I say, okay, try something like this, give it 30 days, and just separate for 30 days and give it some time to kind of sort of heal. And then that will be the last strike. If it happens again, that's for sure a thing in no. And number 7, nothing gets resolved. Usually emotionally toxic people, they feed on that struggle. They need it. It's like they are addicted to drama. I remember having a fight with my ex and coming to him and saying, listen, let's talk about it. And he looked at me like I'm like totally stupid. He's like, what did you talk about? It happened yesterday. There's nothing there to resolve. And sure enough, we had the same fight over and over for like some years. So nothing gets resolved. So start paying attention to some of those things, because knowledge is the power, right? So some of my clients, one of their biggest fears as they start dating or start getting in a new relationship, they'll say something, Olga, I'm afraid I'm going to get into the same thing. I'm afraid to repeat my mistakes. I was like, take the short screen of this one. You will not. You know better now. I wanted to remind you a very famous quote, that you are an average of 5 people you spend most time or surround yourself with. Notice what kind of people you spend most time with. You are becoming them. Now, as we set a ground and we know clear what is healthy and what is not, let's start transitioning and looking at what's the opposite of it. So often a woman will tell me, Olga, how would I create a happy, fulfilling relationships if I've never been with one? Or if I didn't even know what it tastes, smells, or feels like? Let me know if you feel like this, because I sure did. I was genuinely wondering, how do you create something that you've never experienced or witnessed? And that's how Tapping to Love, my program, was born. Now, let's talk about some traits and some things that I know you'll find helpful to distinguish the difference between healthy conflict and toxic relationships. Now, again, not very many relationship coaches will tell you this, but I will, because I've been there and I'm here now. Healthy relationship does not mean not having conflict. If you are in a relationship and you don't have conflict, it's not healthy. You probably walking on an eggshell, or he walking on an eggshell, and you are not speaking your truth. So conflict is normal, the healthy one. And there's a way to resolve things and agree to disagree and respect each other, even if you kind of bump your heads. So let's talk about 4 traits of toxic versus healthy. So the first trait of toxic people is that they withhold. They're secretive, they are lying or not being fully honest, and even in a conflict, it shows. They shut down and they just don't want to talk. I remember coming to my ex and saying, well, let's talk. And he would not turn off the TV. He would stir the TV. He said, talk. I was like, no, let's not talk. Now, in a healthy relationships, you will learn how to speak what I call microscopic truth. And it's one of the skills that I teach my clients how to do. It's a very sexy, very juicy way to connect to your partner. It's a new skill for many people. Me and Ernie are learning it now, but I know there's one thing that holds us together and that makes us happy. Is that we are very, very honest with each other. Number 2, withdrawal is another tactic that emotional unavailable people use. It's a door slapping, it's the addictive tendencies, right? It's like the drinking, excessive TV, or any other things, even work, right? People use work as an addiction. So the opposite of it is being present. I always will choose my woman that I work with, find a man who can be intensely present with you, who can sit down, look into your eyes, and have a conversation with you, hold your hand, and talk about this. I remember wanting that so much with my ex, and I just never had this. And it's not until I met Ernie, I discovered that I can't even look in a guy's eyes. Like, we were sitting at dinner, Ernie would look into my eyes, and I would keep on putting my eyes away, because I never had practice of being with a present deep man. Now, as we were, being together. I've learned that. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to connect. The third trait is project. Now, project means manipulate, become aggressive. I remember my ex, when I told him that I am going to file divorce, I'm going to go talk to an attorney. He hid my car keys. No kidding, ladies. True stories. He hid my car keys. And so this is the kind of thing that we're talking about. Projection also means blaming others, right? Not taking responsibility. And I'm sure you experience some of these patterns. Now, the opposite of that is looking within, right? It's saying, okay, what is my part of that? How have I contributed to this? Every single time me and Ernie would go through conflict or disagreement, he will tell me, Olga, I want to learn from it. I want to see how I can do this better next time. And I'm just sitting and saying, somebody pinch me because I think I'm sleeping. And this is what I want for you guys. I want you to be with the kind of people who can do that, who can take responsibility. And finally, emotional or physical violence or abuse. We talked about that. It's not, I believe there's zero tolerance. And the opposite of that, of course, is taking responsibility, communicating, and committing to no drama. This is a big commitment, but I want to challenge you guys to take it on, to commit to no drama. This is our family policy, and every time things happen, we'll do our due diligence to sit down and talk about it. Now, there are times since going to the next day, but our intention is not to carry it on. Now, I know you guys have seen this quote by Robert Smith, and it says, if they don't love, value, or appreciate you, they don't deserve you. Let them go and find someone else with a better taste who will. When I read this quote many years ago, 5 years ago, I was like, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you for saying that. And so if you are finding yourself in a relationship that potentially run its course, or if you're clearing it and you may be feeling guilty that you left them and you did something good for yourself, write this quote down. Use this to remind you that you did the right thing. So why is it important to clear the toxic relationship experience? Now, those of you who are in fast safety world, you probably don't even need the answer to this, but I want to give you a couple of additional whys, because remember how I said if your why is big enough, your how will appear. And essentially, those are the three reasons that are so, so crucial for us to take time and spend going through this and making peace with the past. Number one, that person is the most important energetic man imprint, meaning that your next one will be like this, maybe a little bit better, but it's so important to understand that you get an energetic imprint, and clearing and changing that imprint will create a better relationship moving forward. Number two, we always attract not what we want, whether positive or negative, but what has the strongest feeling. So if you have a feeling of resentment, hate, maybe betrayal, anything else towards your ex or towards your existing partner, this is the time to clear it. What you hold within, finish the sentence. I know you know the rest of the sentence. What you hold within, you attract more of, right? And so we want to look within and see how do we feel toward that person, you know, present or past, and we want to clear that and we want to release it on a deeper level. I really struggled with this one, guys, because, you know, my ex caused me so much heartache and drama and just unnecessary trauma. And I said, you know what, it's my time to change it. Actually, my fast safety practitioner helped me with that. So Olga, find something that you are so grateful to him for that it will overpower everything else. And so there's not a day goes by that I'm not feeling grateful to my ex right now for the kids that are in my life right now. Because if not for him, I wouldn't have it. The second thing that I'm very, very grateful to my ex is the fact that if not for him, I wouldn't know my life purpose. Right now, I'm more clear than ever that what I meant to do on this planet is to help others find love. Like, I'm getting emotional as I'm talking about it. So you guys probably hear I have like almost tears coming up because it's very real, it's very true, it's very aligned with my purpose. And if not for him, I wouldn't happen. So I want you to look back, guys, and I'll take you through the process to help you feel that way, not just kind of logically understand it. Start looking for those things, right? What are the things that you can feel grateful? And that feeling of gratitude needs to be so strong that it overpowers everything else. Let me take a look at a quick comment or question that came in, make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, very good. So Aini said, I can relate to, just a second. I can relate to those patterns of the relationship I ended a month ago. Oh, Amy said that. After 3 years of trying to make something work, I can relate to the feeling of always being the problem. Oh yeah, so true. And I was upset about anything that we were never resolved, as there were nothing to talk about. All right. I paid a high price emotionally with walking on the eggshells most of the time, never knowing how he was going to be daily. I would even be avoided for days if he upset. He wanted to punish me. Oh yeah, the silent treatment. I totally know what that is, and paid for something. He knew how to manipulate situations and my triggers of abandonment. I'm thankful I'm out of that situation and now dealing with emotions in me of not wanting to attract that guy of relationships in my future. Can I just tell you, thank you, Amy, for sharing this. There are women on this call or who will be listening to this, and they need to hear stories like that. They need to know that there's hope and they can do it too. So thank you for this. The third reason why it's important to clear the toxic relationship experience, guys, is that memories buried alive never die, right? They just come back in different pair of shoes, usually ugly and bigger ones, to hunt you down. And this is why I created this seminar, guys, to empower you with the skills on how to deal with those memories. This is me. You're looking at the screen, you'll see a picture of me in the green glasses and the white glasses. So now we're going to turn things around just a little bit. What I'm about to tell you guys, you might not like, and you might just turn off this webinar and say, oh no, I'm done talking to you. This is not so cool. But here's the truth, guys. It takes two to tango. If you want to entangle toxic relationships, there's part of you that is aligned with that on some reason, right? That means that you know how to play the role of victim, that you know how to feel sorry for yourself and how to feel guilty. And here's the biggest truth, guys. I knew how to do it professionally. The very first session I had with my fast safety practitioner, she said, Olga, you know how to feel guilty. Please don't go find another man. He'll make you feel guilty as well. It's your pattern, not his. Clear this pattern, start noticing all the little ways that you make yourself feel guilty and give opportunities to others to feel guilty, and clear it. So why do women keep attracting toxic men? And this is a big question, right? But the simple answer is because we have a program within that's been installed very often, usually from childhood, that allows us to do this, right? We know how to dance this dance. We know how to play this game. And so we are doing this until we wake up and say, there's a common denominator here. And the denominator is me. And we start doing this work. So that's how main programming works. Perception is projection. It's what we hold within, we see inside. Now, what I wanted to demonstrate with this picture, guys, is the simple concept. Whatever you believe about others, you'll see more of that, right? You will attract it. I'll give you a simple example. So have you ever noticed that, like when you bought a current car that you have, so I have white Honda, you see a lot of cars just like that on the street. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many white Hondas. Me and my daughters call it sister cars. Like, I never noticed sister cars before. So same thing work with man, right? So I have the green glasses, I have the white glasses. So when you have the, look at something and you have green glasses on, you say, well, the paper is green, right? And then if you don't have any glasses on and you just look at this paper is white. So what is the true color, right? So different people who have different glasses will say it's different things. So people who come from different background, who know how to do the toxic relationship and toxic tendencies, they'll tell you that that is the truth, right? So what we're doing in this webinar, we're taking off the glasses. We're taking off the glasses so we can see things for what they are. And again, I know many of you are not necessarily placed to manifest the soulmate, but I read this quote when I was in the midst of a bad marriage. And I took it to heart, and it took me 5 years to decode it and understand what it means before I actually attracted a soulful, good partner, somebody that I love and adore. So I wanted to share this with you guys, and I want you to take it to heart and really let it sink in. I heard from Deepak Chopra. Somebody asked him on one of the summits, I think it was Ariel Ford, and she said, how do you manifest a soulmate? Deepak Chopra thought for a second, and they said, well, that's easy. just make a list of things of what you want him or her to be and become that. And I was like, so it was really, really interesting concept. So all what he said, it's a very simple recipe, super, super simple, 2 steps. Make a list of what you want a person to be and become that. So start experiencing those things within before you do it with others. And I know it's probably not a new concept, but when I heard it, light bulb within went for me, and that's how everything started. I wanted to introduce you to something that's called 80-20 principle. How many of you heard about a Pareto principle? It's mostly known in economy and business. If you did, just type it in a box yes or type it in a box no. But Pareto principle or 80-20 rule of relationships essentially states the following. Well, rule of everything essentially states the following. 80% of results coming from 20% of effort. And it works on everything. If you're a business owner, 80% of your income probably comes from 20% of your clients. If you look on the fridge, you eat about 80% of the food 20% of the time. If you look in the closet, you wear 80% of your clothes, you wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. So what I'm saying here, guys, is when you are crafting better relationships or when you are getting over an abusive relationships, I want you to understand this principle, because so many times people will ask me a question and they just want me to tell them what to do, and that's not how it works. It's kind of the thing that I told you in the beginning when I went to a relationship counselor or marriage counselor and said, well, just go do date nights. It doesn't work because she told me 20%, right? So what to do, the communication, all of that. The inner work, the real work, the deeper work, hello, the subconscious work is where you make the difference, where you make the changes. Now, it takes a little bit longer to do this, right? But I work with women who are 60, 70, 72 years old who just started to do this. So understand this now, guys, and start this work now. It'll take you a few years or so, but a year from now, you'll wish you started today. So there you go. The 80% of relationship success is the mindset and the inner work. And the 20% is the other things like communication, what to do if you're dating, maybe dating profile, what to text, what not to text, right? And if you start Googling those things, like all those relationship coaches are often tell you is what is the best text to send, right? Or what's the best profile to make? Just kind of very sad because that's not where results are. I want to introduce you to a former client of mine. Her name is Verity, and she was kind of sharing something that I really like. I wanted to share it with you to help you understand, you know, how this works. So it was amazing to see and understand repeating patterns and to heal wounds on the father's side. So when me and her started working together, she was so diligent. She brought me 20 memories in the first session, and I was like, sister, we'll do the best we can. But here's the truth, guys. After maybe 4 or 5 sessions, she told me, I'm texting with this guy. Should I date? Should I today? Which of course will say, listen to your God, right? So they started dating, and she said, I'm dating this guy. He's absolutely incredible, attentive, and generous. And so I actually updated with her just a few days ago and said, hey, how's everything going? So 8 months later, she said, Olga, Jason, and me are still together. We're celebrating our 8-month anniversary. And ridiculously in love. It's vomit worthy. Now, here's what I want you to notice, guys. Ready? She said, we had our disagreements and conflict, but they brought us closer together, allowing us to feel safe and to make mistakes and to still be loved. This is why I wanted to share it with you. I want you to understand that there's a healthy way to deal with the conflict. I want you to understand that that's supposed to bring you closer together in a way where you are more connected, where you're more intimate. And so let's dive into the 4 steps to get over a toxic relationship that I wanted to kind of walk you through, guys. And if you have a paper and some notes, this is the time to take notes. Let me kind of stop for a second, see if you guys have any questions or comments before I move on. How's everybody doing? Let me know all is good, or I'm still here, or I'm folding laundry, which is totally fine, guys. Very often I'm listening to this class and folding laundry. All right. So the first thing that I want you to notice is the story that you are creating. And if you have a story, then you believe it and you will recreate it. So let's release the Step number 2, declutter. Declutter on physical, mental, and emotional level. Step number 3, focus and find proof of what you do want. Now, again, we'll go through the steps in more detail, guys, so you'll get a chance to write them down as we go along. But this is the big picture. And number 4, tap and forgive. So we'll talk about what's called man peace leaves. Now, as we are diving into this, guys, step number 1 really has to do with the story. And I haven't heard this particular approach to this until I've listened to, I think it was Carl Sears who talked about this. Here's what happens often. When we have a story and when we are in a story, consciously or subconsciously, so often we'll recreate it and repeat it because it feels familiar, and what familiar feels safe, even though it sucks, right? This is how subconscious mind works, and this is why rules that are true on conscious mind are not the same that are on subconscious mind. This is why relationship coaching and just talk therapy does not give you as much results as actually changing the patterns on deep within. But what I want you to do with this story, guys, is to notice it. So number 1, notice your story. So mine was the one of a victim. I was the one who spent all my best years, young years, with this guy who was not employed, who was not a good partner, who was drinking, partying, and I was just poor me. And this story was very, very persistent. So start releasing it. Say, that's not my story. It's just something that happened. That's not who I am. Now, first, give yourself space to feel it. Don't you stuff it down. Don't ignore it. Be present with this. And often, if you really let yourself feel your feelings, that's all you need. You don't even need to tap. They'll just go away. Promise, we never feel our feelings, or barely ever. Why? Because it hurts, right? Because it hurts. So that's why tapping is so awesome. Notice your thoughts. Just because you have a thought, it does not mean it's true. Now, here's my favorite personal principle that I follow if something really bad happens in my life. Do not repeat your story for more than 3 times. And sometimes it's really hard to do. So I'll give you an example. A few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, my youngest daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. So Vicky had a cancer, and it was a really, really challenging time in my life. But even then, I understood this principle. And I made my due diligence not to tell people about it unless I absolutely had to. Now, that story I had to tell 3 times. But very early, I told myself, I'm not a mother of a sick child. Oh, hold on, guys, I need to tap. I was picturing her healthy and walking to the bus stop with a hat full of hair. And I said, no, I'm not going to join any organizations. I'm not going to label her in any way. I never memorized her medical number, right? So very early, I said she's healthy before she was healthy. And telling that story or repeating the story also wasn't something that I did. You know, I didn't talk about Facebook often. I didn't join lots of organizations. I donated to a few, you know, pink ribbons and all of that. But I just never associated with it. So notice what you do. How often do you retell your story to your friends, to your girlfriends? How do you reinforce it instead of releasing it? And here's the truth, guys. Feeling good is the work. Feeling good at all that matters. This is the quote that, by the way, got me through that hard time this week, right? When she was sick and it was just so difficult. I just keep on repeating this. Feeling good is the work. Feeling good is all that matters. And so they will help you change the story. If you want to go back to that story, just remind yourself that. All right, guys, let me stop for a second and see if there are any questions, if that makes sense. I'm going to take a sip of tea. Okay, wonderful. Everybody's good? Let's talk a little bit about decluttering. So the second step is declutter. So where are you in relationships right now, or you already left the relationship? Decluttering is the best thing you can do for your soul. I teach my clients to declutter on physical, mental, and emotional level. Do you have old stuff that belong to him? Darlene, I see your hand, my friend. You can just type in the box, City. I'll be happy to answer your question. Are you friends on the Facebook? Do you still live with that person? Now, here's what the point, guys. Do not see when you send him a Christmas card. It keeps you ex and things are still very fresh, right? You do not want to bring this drama up. Do not text, do not call, do not email, do not have an innocent lunch. All of those things make it harder to have a clean cut and to move on. Finally, what beliefs you installed together. So this is the work that I do with participants of Tap Into Love program. We'll go back and we dug out those beliefs and declutter them. But you can start doing this yourself and just ask yourself, what do you believe that doesn't serve me? It's okay to let it go. Before we go on to the step 3, I wanted to remind you guys that whatever you can perceive, your mind can achieve. Jack Canfield said it best. So in step 3, I'm going to encourage you guys to focus on what you do want and find a proof of that. I remember for something as simple as Stephen was my practitioner and my ex, he wouldn't help with housework or help very little, to where I felt like I had to do everything. And I was a working mom and he didn't have a job. So you got the picture, right? And so I remember him sitting on the couch and watching TV, and I just really, really want him to help me with the dishes. And my practitioner said, well, Olga, just picture him doing it. And I was like, for the love of God, I cannot picture it. You know, guys, it was just so hard. And she said, listen, if you cannot do it in your mind, you sure as hell won't be able to do it in your life. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And so, okay, here's the truth, guys. He still didn't do the dishes. It still didn't work. But Ernie does. Ernie does dishes all the time. He, you know, offers help, and he's happy to help. And yesterday, I was sitting there on the counter, had a glass of wine, watching him do dishes. It was so great. You know, I said, Ernie, this is the best picture. So focus on what you do want. And the second part of that is find a proof. Now, this is an exercise that I give to my clients, and I talked about it in my other videos. Find real life examples of people who have what you want. Get very specific, write it down, and make it meaningful. Look for those examples consciously and give it time. Because so often I'll say, well, go find happy couples, you know, and just, you know, maybe somebody on Facebook that you know, or a friend of a friend, or a neighbor, whatever. And they say, well, there's none. Give it time. Once you set your intention on it, guess what's going to happen? They will appear. It's very important to find proof of what you want. I remember actually unfriending people who were happy on Facebook, and I just posted a video about jealousy because I felt jealous. And so now I teach people, I help people understand that jealousy is actually a good thing. It's a good thing because it helps you see what you want, and it's almost like, oh, you know, the thing that you want, it exists, and you're next, right? So that's what jealousy is. I wanted to introduce you to Jamie. She is an amazing client of mine. She also lives here in Houston, and she talks about our work all over the internet all the time. Now, what I like about her example is that she took that exercise to heart. She really looked for people around her who have this, and we tapped a lot on the childhood stuff together. She said, working with Olga changed things for me. I needed a better way to see myself before I can move on and attract the co-creative partner. After we tapped last year in July, it's actually been 2 years ago. Within the month, I've met the man of my dreams. 2 years later, we are still together and very happy. Seriously, it's amazing how great it works. So these little exercises, guys, they only work if you actually do them, right? So what I want you to do, and for the sake of time, I'll just go ahead and mention this exercise, and we'll kind of have to move on. But here's what I want you to do. Write down how you want to feel in your relationship. Start with just 5 values, 5 things that are core, that are important, and non-negotiable. So for me, those were things like, I want my partner to be emotionally available and emotionally intelligent. I want my partner to be someone who has an attitude of learning and growing, because I always learn and grow. Number 3, I want to be with somebody who's financially intelligent. That was important to me. And so it's things like that. Those are the core values, things that you know that will be your non-negotiable. The second thing I want you to do is, when you try down 30 feeling words, right? So how do you want to feel in your relationships? That's what determine what's going to happen. It's not how tall he is, what color of the eyes they are, but try down how you want to feel. Again, guys, most people don't get what they want because they don't know what they want. Set intention to get clear. So in that exercise, guys, I want to encourage you to get very, very specific. If you look at the screen right now, I title it My Soulmate. The date is 02/12/2017. And 6 months later, that's where Ernie showed up in my life. And I actually read that entry to him, and he was like, yeah, it sounds like me. So I totally made him up. I wrote him down, and then he showed up in my life 6 months later. So we talked about memories, guys, and we're going to go through the memory changing exercise in just a little bit. And the last step, the step 4, actually has to do with that, tap and forgive. I want to encourage you to create what I call a man piece list, right? So those of you in Fast Safety community, you know that piece list is part of what we do. But man piece list specifically refers to your memories with the man, right? Whether it's your father or anybody else who was that kind of figure for you, like a romantic or otherwise, and tap on that. Changing memories is the keys, guys. If you don't know how to do it, I'll teach it to you today. Trance breaking is another thing that's very, very helpful. Now, this is forgiveness mantra. If you are watching this on a phone, go ahead and take a snap picture of that. I really love this mantra, guys, and a lot of people quoting it on Facebook. And it has to do with a very simple way just to kind of self-hypnotize yourself into forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the core things that I work on with my clients. And the mantra goes like this. With love, compassion, and understanding, I now forgive, I now forgive, I now forgive. And I bring all power back into my body. I'm worthy and deserving of receiving love and abundance. When I heard this mantra, all what I did is I wrote on a piece of paper, still was with my abuse partner, and I tapped, right? So emotional abuse, not physical. And so what happened is, as time went by, I was starting to learn how to forgive him. I kind of grew into this idea of forgiveness. And now, he still struggles. He doesn't pay his child support in time, and there's some other issues. But like literally 2 weeks ago, me and Ernie were talking. It's like, you know what? He's a good guy. He came and picked up the kids, and me and Ernie had our weekend together. And Ernie said, I'm kind of starting to like him. So we both did our healing toward our exes, and it improves our relationships. I want you to take the steps to heart and rinse and repeat. It's not a one-time process. You will go through this again and again as you're decluttering, as you're healing and releasing yourself from the old toxic residue relationships. I'll go through the steps again, guys. So step number 1, notice what story you're creating, release it. Step number 2, declutter on physical and emotional level. Step number 3, focus on 5 proof of what you do want. And finally, step number 4, tap and forgive. Let me pause for a second to see if you guys have any questions or comments before we move on. Alrighty, fantastic. I want to introduce you to Kristen, and she's the one who was new to tapping when we started working. She was a yoga teacher, and if you guys tapping is not one of the things that you do, or you are new to this, or maybe you've been doing it but you just kind of like, I'm not sure what's going on. This is what she said. I felt heavy, without energy, and closed off creatively after a somewhat traumatic experience. By the time I met Olga, I've been meditating and practicing. Oh, really quickly. The reason why Kristen came to me, because she was going over a breakup. She had a really bad breakup, and she said, I feel very heavy. It affects my business and my relationship with my daughter. And she was like, this is not good enough, and this lack of confidence is draining me. So that's why we started working together. So she said, I've been meditating, practicing yoga, hoping that the burden would be left off. But what I was able to do is to feel my feeling and to name them. So she said, I could feel shame, abandonment, and anger, but I had no way of releasing it. So she said, we tapped and tapped, and after 4th session, I felt that all the shame, abandonment, and anger disappear. So it takes a little bit of time, guys, but the tool that I'm offering you is something that is really changing how we feel versus just helping us understand how we feel, which is more of a psychology tool, right? So changing how we feel is what I'm most passionate about. So she said, I feel lighter, I had more energy, and I was looking forward to the future. I probably don't even have to mention, but my business greatly improved because of that. So Kristen, she's actually a yoga teacher. So I'm here to tell you guys that all relationships are just a reflection, the reflection of something that's inside of you. So if you're single right now, use this beautiful time to deal with your things. So when you get into relationships, you have high quality, beautiful relationship with somebody who worth and deserve you. Now, if you get triggered, get tapping. It's just a block, a limiting belief coming up. It's nothing wrong with you. It's just some of the patterns there. Remember, forgiveness is the key. And again, it's important to find someone who can help you with your subconscious mind, right? Because 96% of the decisions are driven by the subconscious mind. And so start paying attention what kind of things are happening that you kind of feel you are not in control of. That's what you want to start changing. As promised, guys, I want to share 6 skills to master on how to create fulfilling relationships with you. And those are actually the skills that I teach in my signature program. So Tap Into Love program is a one-on-one coaching program. It's about 4 months or so. It's been created about half a year ago, and it's a result of like 10 years of my work. So I wanted to walk you through the steps. So if you decide to take this journey on your own, you at least know what to aim for. And if you decide to join me, I'll talk to you more about it in a few minutes. So the first skill that you want to master is the one of self-worth and self-love mastery. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody will ever love you more than you love yourself. So start learning how to connect to yourself on a better level. Skill number 2 has to do with your past relationship experiences, being aware, being able to heal it, release it, feel the trigger, and just say, oh, okay, something is passing through. That's okay. And it's also the skill where you learn how to trust a man again, because you understand that not all men are like that. It was just the experience because it was based on how you've been brought up or something else that happened, and it's safe to trust a man. Skill number 3 has to do with how to attract the right guy. So this is one of my favorite modules to teach because I talk about the law of attraction for relationships, or law of attraction for, dating, how to either improve existing relationships or how to attract the guy who is a good match for you. Skill number 4 is one of these. Remember how I said about 80-20 rule, right? So it really is a 20% of the game. As you can see, there's only one skill there out of like what to do and how to do this. But it's important. It's important to know how to date in the modern world, right? What are the rules of dating, especially for conscious women who don't want to go on like 10 days with 10 guys? And what does it look like when you're dating multiple guys? And whether or not you are in a place of dating, this is a good things to learn to move forward. Skill number 5 has to do with communication. How to communicate your needs. First of all, with yourself, right? So this is where you want to learn how to talk healthy and openly about things like sex, emotions, money, and commitment. Those are the 4 high topics, those are the 4 hot topics that I train my clients on how to be at peace with and communicate. They're part of life, the important part of life, but we all are just so scared shitless to talk about those things. How do I know it? Because I was there. So skill number 5, learn how to communicate within yourself and others effectively. Skill number 6 has to do with how to keep love. So often I get emails from women who say, oh God, I met a great guy, but I feel like I keep sabotaging these relationships over and over. So this is a sign of someone who haven't fully healed. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't heal together. Actually, that's what happened with me and Ernie. When we got together, we still have to deal with a lot of our stuff, but we were catalysts for change for each other. We both are very honest, and we both love growing, and it was really great for us. We actually accelerated each other change. So keeping love is something that I teach in my coaching, and I work with couples now, I do relationships, couples, relationship counseling, so that's what I really like. Of course, tapping is a big part of it. Now, let's go ahead and do a tapping round, ladies. I'm very excited about this one. So what I want you to do is I wanted to take you through this process so you can take this skill and do it yourself if you wish, or that you have a quick sample of what kind of work I do with clients if you decide to go further with me. What I'd love for you to do, guys, is first of all remind you that memories buried alive never die. They come back in different pairs of shoes, usually bigger ones, right? So this is a really, really beautiful and great skill that I'd love for you to master. First thing I want you to do, I want you to think about a memory that you'd like to clear, and just go ahead and type it in a chat, the title of this memory. Well, it doesn't have to be, complicated or anything. You can say something that happened in the kitchen, or you can say that argument, or you can say the divorce. What I want you to know very clearly is you close your eyes, so you need to kind of go into this moment, feel it, see it, notice what you're hearing, notice what you're experiencing, because this way we can actually clear it. And once you're ready, go ahead and write it down. You can also do it on a piece of paper if you don't feel like typing it here, that's fine too. Okay, good, good, good. So Monica said a boat trip. That's fine. Yeah. Now, the second thing I want you to do is I want you to notice 3 emotions around that experience and around that memory or an incident, right? What happened? What are the 3 top feelings? And you can say, I felt stuck, I felt hopeless, scared. Or you can say, I feel so disappointed and betrayed and angry, right? So whatever those things are, go ahead and notice them and also jot them down either in a chat or on a piece of paper. I'll give you a second to do that. And once you're ready, finally, I want you to notice if there's any pictures or if there's any sounds with this memory, right? So what does it look like? What does it sound like? Get as many specifics as possible. Now, as we tap together, I'll use more of a generic wording, but obviously, you know, when I do it with client one-on-one, we use the specific thing that's going on, but it actually works other ways. So just stay with me. Now, I want you to notice how strong it is. Like 0, not at all, 10, very strong. Where are you? Disappointed, sad, angry. That's good, that's good. So 0, it doesn't bother me, it doesn't trigger me. 10, like, oh my gosh, I can totally feel it. Notice where it is, great. And finally, I want you to notice where you feel it in your body, because that's where the magic happens, guys. Subconscious mind is your body, it's not in the head. And so is it in the stomach? Do you feel a pressure in your throat? Is it the shoulders? Where is it? Go ahead and notice that. And once you do, go ahead and take a deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Very good. And go ahead and close your eyes and step into this memory. Feel what you felt, see what you saw. And just kind of remind yourself that this is your safe place to heal, to be, to talk openly, right? Truth is very liberating. To feel your feelings, and most important, to clear things that serve you and things that doesn't serve you, things that you, I'm sorry, really just we're gonna clear things that doesn't serve you. What I meant to say is what we want to clear is things that you're conscious or not conscious of. So we're going to release both of them. And as you do, just deep breath and breathe out. In your mind, guys, do this for me. Imagine that you're holding on to helium balloons in your hand. If you would release and let go of the balloons, what happened with them eventually? Okay, notice them flying away, disappearing in a distance. And as you do, just kind of notice them flying away. Ready? Hi, Monica. So once you do, just kind of have your eyes closed. I want you to go ahead and feel these feelings for a lifetime. Now open your eyes, take 2 fingers, do what I do, say what I say. If you're brand new to tapping, don't freak out, just do this like an acupressure technique. I want you to tap between your eyes and just kind of change the points as I do. You should see me on the screen right now and just say what I say. I release and let go of all the disappointment. I release the sadness, the anger, that feeling in my throat. It's safe to let it go. This memory is in the past. The good thing about the past, that it doesn't exist. It's not real. It's over. It only exists in my mind. I can feel it, and it's still painful. Today is my time to let it go. I commit to no drama in my life. And this is the first step. Making a peace with the past, releasing what doesn't serve me. It's safe to let it go. It's my time to grow up and be happy. All right, very good, guys. Go ahead and finish tapping. Grab your wrist. Push around, deep breath. And breathe out. Say a word, peace. Very good. You guys are doing great. So I know it's with me over time a little bit. So we'll take about 5-10 minutes to wrap it up. If you guys have absolutely go, then no worries. But I'd love for you to stick around because there's a couple other things I want to share before we go. But I just want to let you know 10, maybe 15 minutes at the most. So go ahead and close your eyes. And in your mind, we need to go ahead and step into happy, peaceful place. Go ahead and do that. And when you're ready, just let me know. Just nod your head or type it in the chat. Okay, very good. So what I want you to notice is what you feel, what you see, make it stronger. Notice those good feelings and those happy memories. And just for yourself, name those 3 feelings. So what are they? Do you feel excited, sexy, juicy? Do you feel peaceful, calm, present? Do you feel happy, connected, and joyful? What are those feelings? Go ahead and notice them in that memory. And just notice what they are. When you're ready, just nod your hand. Very good. Now go ahead and take a breath. Take a deep breath, breathe in. And breathe out. Alrighty. So what I want you to do, guys, is close your eyes and go back to the original memory. And just kind of see where you are, how strong. Does it still bother you? If you're not at all, very strong, just notice where you are. You can type it in a chat or write on a piece of paper. Okay. All right, very good. So for Monica, it looks like it's going down. It's the 6. Now ask yourself, how do I know it's that, right? So we're going to go ahead and do this exercise with Monica. How do you know it's a 6? And you can say, I know because I feel a feeling in my body, right? You say, I know because I see a picture. Or I know because I hear the word. I can feel the feeling, right? So notice, how do you know? How do you know it's a 6? And let me know. Good. So notice that feeling. Now, if it's a picture, guys, let me know if you have pictures, because I'll walk you through the picture switcher exercise. But it's just a feeling, feel that feeling, notice it. And when you got it, just tap. So this feeling, the sadness. I know how to feel sad. It's safe to let it go. The fear. I felt fearful before. I walked on the eggshell. He made me pay for my mistakes. I paid high emotional price. For no, I had to avoid it. It's all in the past. All the manipulations, all the abandonment, it's safe to let it go. I'm so thankful it's over. I'm so thankful I had guts to leave it. Or I'm getting ready to leave it. Or I'm getting ready to deal with it. The truth is, as I change within, my relationships transform. It's safe for me to let it go. Just let it go. Good, good, good. Finish typing. Grab your wrist. Deep breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Here's what I want you to do, guys. Close your eyes and picture an octopus wearing red stilettos on a gym beam, like red stilettos on a balancing beam. Let me know when you got this picture. You can nod your head. Picture an octopus and the red stilettos on a beam. Good? Okay, all right, very good. So it's like a little trance breaking exercise just to kind of get your mind of it so we can see what else is left. Awesome. Open your eyes, take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out. Go ahead and move your shoulders, kind of shake it. Good. Go ahead, go back to this memory, check one more time, see what's still left. Anything at all, 10 very strong, 0 not at all, where are you? So Amy, Monica, when you're ready, go ahead and type your numbers. And if you guys, the rest of you want to share, feel free to. Good, good, good. Right, so it's going down. Notice how you know. Is it still the sadness? Is it still the fear? Whatever those things are, just kind of notice them. You can share with me. You can notice it for yourself. And once you really feel it, once you really give it attention, tap. Good, good, good. Anger about me. That's about the next stage that people usually go through, right? First you mad at the other, then you mad at yourself for not leaving early, for not doing something, right? So it's a very natural progression. It's good. Sadness, good, good, good. And so what I want you to do is I want you to kind of touch those points. And when you do, I want you to give all attention to those points. So just put 100% of your attention here, 100% of your attention there. Okay? And breathe. And say, let it go. Safe to release it. I feel angry at myself. I know how to feel angry at myself. I do this often, beat myself up, and it's safe to let it go. Safe to release it. At that time, I did the best I could with what I knew. I have no right to go back and judge myself for doing this. I was in a different level of development. I was in a different level of consciousness. I didn't know what I know now. I didn't know Olga. I didn't know tapping. I forgive myself. I did the best I could with what I knew. It's safe to let it go. Just let it go. Go ahead and grab your wrist, guys. Deep breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Say we're at peace. Very good. Now go ahead and tell me your, and you can just say it out loud in your mind. Tell me your phone number backward. I cannot hear you, but I'm trying to tell me, guys. So Darlene, Monica, and Abby, make sure to tell me the number. The rest of you, if you're talking to the same.
885.
Good, 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 good. Okay, fantastic.
063.
No, you're good, guys. This section is hard for me. Like most of my clients, like, can I write down? Like, nope, can I write down? Need to do the best you can say. All right, guys, one more time. Go ahead and close your eyes. Go back to the memory. Check one more time. Just notice what's left. Any triggers, anything at all. And also, if you want to unmute yourself, feel free to unmute yourself. If you want to just kind of say it versus type it, it's fine too. And when you're ready, just tell me where you are. You go ahead and type the number. So 0, not at all, 10, very strong. Just check. Good, good, good. So it's getting to lower numbers. Very good. So let's do one more round of tapping, guys. And when you get into 2 or 3, it's a good time to start flipping the memory. So I really want to show you that. Okay, so notice this feeling. Really give yourself permission to feel. And then take your fingers and tap this remaining feeling. This all sensation. It's really changing. I'm giving myself permission to feel good. Because feeling good, that's all that matters. Feeling good is the work. I commit to not holding to the old stuff. I commit decluttering old beliefs and old memories. Because it's good for me. Because joy is my natural state of life. And I want to tap into this feeling. Deep down inside, I know I'm going to be all right. But I want to live in that deep down place more often. When this feeling is my new normal. It's safe for me to feel good. It's safe for me to release the sadness, the fear, the anger, the grief, the loss. It's all in the past. Every day is a new day. Today is for sure a new day of my new life. So it's safe to let it go. Just let it go. Go ahead and finish tapping. Grab your wrist and take a deep breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. And one more time, go ahead and step into different happy memory. Choose any peaceful experience that you'd like. Could be something as small as you meditating by the ocean or going for a walk, or something like a bigger happy event with others. It doesn't matter where it is. What we're looking for is positive, happy feelings. When you get it, just let me know. Very good, very good. Step into this memory and make it real. What I want you to do, guys, I want you to feel it in your body. Like it's you're right there right now, feeling it, seeing it. And when you're ready, just nod your head or type in the chat. Let me know. You can also say it out loud. Excuse me. Got it? Very good. All right, guys, deep breath. One last time, go ahead and step into the original memory and tell me what's going on, guys. 0, not at all. 10, very strong. Where are you? Good, good, good. Okay. Whenever you're ready, Monica and Jordan, let me know. No longer real. Ah, that's very good, very good. Okay. And so what's going to happen, guys, when you tap? Yeah, those are the things that you'll experience. Amy said 1, Monica said it's no longer real, Darlene said relaxed 1. Sometimes just tapping will start changing it already. But what I want to do with you guys, what is very, very important, and in classic EFT, they don't do it, but it's one of the processes that we use in fast EFT and that I teach all my clients, and I want you to really get it, guys. It's important to flip this memory, right? So we're going to create a different imprint of that. And here's what naturally happens. People feel resistant to this. They say, I don't want to change this memory. It happened. It's going to be lying to change it. I was like, yeah, it happened, but it's not happening anymore and probably will never happen again. And to make sure it will never happen again, let's put something better there. It's kind of like trying to get a folder. So your memory, your mind, it's kind of like a filing cabinet. Oh, Monica is yawning. It's a good sign. And so what we have right now, it's like there's a folder that says relationships. And so what you have in this folder is different ways to do relationships, right? And those are your memories. So all what you're doing with this memories is you're taking out the old way of doing it and you're filing something else. That's what memory change does. That's why it's so important. That's why it makes such a big difference. So do this for me, guys. Close your eyes. And in your mind, go ahead and rewrite this memory. Change it. Remember, Albert Einstein said that imagination is much more powerful than knowledge. So you can change everything with the power of your mind. And knowledge will take you from A to B, right? But imagination will take you anywhere. That magic that all the teachers are talking about on creation and law of attraction happens right here, right now, when you use the power of your mind to make the change. In your mind, I want you to rewrite this memory and make it better, change it into something that you do want. If it's working already and you're doing it, go ahead and share with me. But if not, I wanted to share with you something really quickly. Years ago, I was tapping with a practitioner. We were tapping on a memory of my parents fighting. And she said, we got to like, 0, 1, something like that. And she said, well, what would you like for them to do instead? I was like, I don't know. They're sitting on the couch, tapping on each other. And I started crying. And she goes like, why are you crying? I was like, because it's something that I want for myself, but I know will never happen. I was with a guy who would never happen. And she goes like, that's okay. If this is what you want, just, notice it, feel it, and just make it real. A few years down the go, maybe 3 years after that or so, I'm meeting Ernie, we're starting dating, and one day I remember not feeling good, and we were sitting in my living room, and I showed him tapping. So he was tapping on me, I was tapping on him. And the second we was doing it, I started crying. He was like, why are you crying? I go, because this is my impossible memory. This is what I was sure will never happen. You with me, guys? You see what we're doing here? Okay. So go ahead and change it to something that you really want, even if you believe it will never happen. All what matters is this is what I want. And it could be the conversation went different. It could be that a fight didn't happen. It could be the person who, whatever they said it differently. Remember, you're the actor and you're the director in this movie. You can change whatever you want. Good, good. So Monica said, but I don't want anything from this man. Excellent. It has nothing to do with him, Monica. It's not about him. He's too big to fit into your head, right? It's who? It's you doing it to who? To you, right? Remember how I said that the biggest energetic imprint of a man right now you have is him. That's what you're changing. You're changing the energetic imprint. And so those are really good comments, and I'm so grateful that you're saying it, because like almost every single client that I work with, they'll ask this question. It's like, I want to hang here with him. And I think like naturally what happens, like if you forgive him, then they'll come back into your life and they'll do something, you know. That's not what's going to happen. You're doing this work for you, not for them. So see if you can do it, guys. Gonna close your eyes. Go ahead and rewrite this memory. If you were able to do it, just go ahead and let me know. And just said yes or got it or whatever those things. Darlene, go ahead, hon.
Got it.
Okay, awesome. Give me a second to kind of try to do this exercise. Notice the resistance. It's very normal, right? So what I would recommend, Monica, were you able to do it or not? You were. Not quite? It's okay. So what I would recommend for you to do, go ahead and do a few more rounds of tapping. Sometime you can even sleep on it. You know, you sleep on it, you wake up. So at the end of this session, I will offer free consultations with me, free 30-minute consultation. So if you want to come in, those are non-obligation, just kind of chat. Maybe I'll give you a couple of tips and what else you can do. We can even finish it together. So it's nothing you can do. But do you know that you want to finish it? You want to flip it. And if you didn't, it's actually a good thing, because all what it tells you is it's a little bit more there to clear. You know, there's just something there that wasn't fully addressed. We don't want to push it. We don't want to, you know, artificially do this. This is very honest. It's very good exercise. So notice that, tap a little bit more and try again. Let me go ahead and quickly share a couple of more slides that I wanted to do with you guys. Any questions, go ahead and drop it in the box. We'll go and do a Q&A at the end. And as you are typing your questions, guys, as you are addressing things that you kind of wanted to ask me before we call it a night, I wanted to briefly share with you what is the next step, and if you guys are interested to take it further with me. So essentially, the program that I wanted to invite you to is called Tap into Love Method. This is a combination of fast EFT or tapping and relationships coaching. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the only person who do this work. I do not know anyone who combines fast EFT and relationships in this way. And the reason why I'm doing this, because this is what I was looking for when I needed help with my toxic relationships. I could not find a relationships coach who does fast EFT and who is advanced certified practitioner, because that's what I needed. And so I was working with a good practitioner, but it took me 2-3 years to get here. So what I did is I took everything. And so this program is about a 4-month program. And it's essentially over 10 years of everything that I've learned about relationships. Now, what you get as a result of it, now it's a one-on-one coaching. So get 10 private coaching sessions with me. And so we'll go through some of the beliefs, we'll pull them out, we'll tap on them, we'll really get you changing those things. Now, you also will get 6 on-demand videos. So those are the modules, kind of similar to what we were learning today, but they go specifically in the kind of journey, kind of things I really want you to unpack, understand, and master in order to tap into love. Finally, you'll get assignments from me, so very specific homeworks. Like for the first week, I usually ask my clients to send me an email every single day after our first session, and I'll tell you what it's going to look like. This is a good opportunity to ask me questions and just to kind of go deeper and to feel the support that you need, because we're doing a lot of changes together. And finally, you'll have access to a messaging support. So if you have a quick question, if something is going on, say, Olga, you know, I'm falling apart. What am I doing wrong? Or this is not working, or this is not working. You also can reach out and talk to me about that. I have a bonus with the Masterclass library, similar to this class, that have many different wonderful classes, anything from the weight loss to money and more relationship stuff, confidence. There are even fast EFT for public speaking, health issues. So all of that you'll have access to. Now, the only thing that I want you to understand, guys, is that when you are in a picture, it's hard to see the entire picture. So get support, whether you work with me or you get somebody else to kind of help you unpack things. You will save time, money, both short and long term. Now, it's also good for health, right? Because unaddressed emotions get stuck in the body and they eventually manifest itself as physical diseases. So there's one thing that I want to help people understand, that you know, we go through school, right? 10 years of schooling, and they teach us the name of the presidents and all the capitals and what is, you know, a leaf made of. but we do not know how our emotions and mind works. And as a result, we have no idea how to do relationships in a healthy way. So this is the kind of thing that I'm very passionate about. Now, so essentially, if you're ready for next step, and if you, I would love to work with you, I'd love to invite you to work with you. Now, I only open about 5 spots at the time. One is actually taken because I just signed up for my last week, so 4 spots, and it's a one-on-one coaching program. I'd like to keep it small because this way I can schedule better with people. One of the most common questions I have, Olga, what about scheduling? I said, don't worry about it, because I only work with about very, very few people at a time. This way, scheduling is not an issue and we have a lot of options. So don't worry about scheduling. We usually work it out just fine one-on-one. But the next step, guys, for you, if you're interested, I'd love to talk to you. So before, you know, I'll let you pay me money. I'd love to make sure that we're a good fit for each other. And the truth is, guys, if you're not sure that you want to, you know, continue and doing coaching and doing the program with me, come and talk to me. If you have a question that you didn't feel comfortable talking about. So there is this link up here. See if I can actually go to that link. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So it's called Tap into Love Method. Just a second. I'll go ahead and drop it in a chat. This way you can go ahead and check it out as well. And it essentially lays out all the things that I shared with you guys in case if you are ready for this step and you're interested. Chat. Paste. There you go. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like and what to do next. So, so this is the description of the program and what kind of things we address and what kind of results people get. Now, as you scroll to the bottom, it talks about the modules that we'll go through. So those are the video modules that you'll get, and the master classes that you'll get access to. So all of these will be yours for free. You have lifetime access. Now we talked about things that you get, like sessions, yada, yada, yada. And so if you are ready, this is the bottom that you want to click. So this is book your free consultation. Now, also, guys, a couple of bonuses that I'm offering to you as participants. You have a free additional session with me if you book that within 48 hours, and you'll get $100 off the entire program. So just kind of keep that in mind. But this is where the consultation application is. So as you scroll down, just, you know, kind of fill in your fields. And if you want to chat with me, I would love to talk to you guys, see if we're a good fit to work together. All right, so that was good. Let me see if I can go back to my slides. Any questions, let me know. But essentially, once you apply to this, guys, I'll send you an email back and I'll let you know what are the steps to take and what's the next thing, how for us to meet and have a chat. I'll send you a link to my calendar and a link to use for Zoom. Alrighty, guys. Well, I wanted to thank you so much for joining me and for allowing me to share what I've learned. My deepest hope and desire that you found this helpful and that you will be able to take the next step, whatever is the right step for you to move forward. I believe that you are worthy and deserving of love and abundance unconditionally. And my deepest hope is that you will adopt this belief for yourself. Now, as promised, I have a gift for you for attending. So that's masterclass library that I told you about, guys. You can check out any class there for free. And to do this, and I'll go ahead and put the information in the chat so you can take advantage of it. There you go. So in the chat, guys, if you go to my website, www.olgaboceriba.com, go to the masterclass library. It's right there on the top. And I'm typing the code that you can use to check out any one class for free. So the classes are, I think, $27, but you can have it free of charge for joining me today. So the code is in the box, so you should be able to see it. So this is for the live participants only. And a thank you for finding time, essentially, for yourself to learn it here. Now, another thing I wanted to share with you guys is that we had a challenge going on online, and the person who was sharing my social media stuff and just kind of helping other women heal was the winner of this challenge. Her name is Tears Hawkins. She was sharing, liking, commenting, and tagging people on my posts, which I'm very grateful. Thank you so much for allowing yourself to heal and helping others to heal. This is really the best gift, the gift of love. So Tears Hawkins is the winner of the challenge, and she won a 1-hour session with me. So I will also mention it on social media. So this way she can take advantage of it. Really quickly, guys, I have a couple of questions I wanted to address. So the first one came in a couple of days ago. And if you guys have your questions, also do ask. So she said, Olga, I have tried to leave my toxic relationships with husband many times, at least 3 times, she said. Once he even threatened to kill me. Every time I do, he would not let me go. I went so far that he even unscrewed the wheels of my car, so it was not safe for me to drive. How am I going to handle such a person? Thank you so much for reaching out to me. So this is a really great question, guys. And I think a lot of what we learned in presentation today, what I talked about presentation, kind of answers it. So this is obviously a toxic relationship, right? Very abusive, very not healthy. And it sounds like this relationship has run its course and it's time to end it. Now, of course, for me to give a better advice would be, if I can talk to the person and just kind of to see how real those threats are, right? So if somebody threatened to kill somebody, it sounds like a police need to be involved, right? Somebody who needed to be protected. It's just not safe, period. And it also sounds like that person actually took up his threat and he acted on it in some way, shape, or form with those feels. But again, unless I talk to the person one-on-one, it's hard for me to say definitively. Now, the information that you provided me, what I know, it sounds like you need to get other people's involved, right? So either you need to talk to your friends and relatives and just kind of tell what happens. You definitely need to separate from the person at least for like maybe 30 days to take a break, so both of you can kind of take a breather. And she asked me not to mention her name, but you know who you are. And so if you want to just jump on a call and talk to me, since I'm opening a few spots within this special offer within the presentations, you are welcome to talk to me one-on-one about this. But my highest advice and insight would be definitely get help, definitely find a way to separate. And here's something interesting. She said, how am I going to handle such a person? You don't need to handle him. Yeah. That is not your job. Don't handle that person. You cannot handle anyone except yourself. So tap, clear the things within, and leave. Right. The second question has to do with whether or not fast shifty practitioners will benefit from the program. So somebody said, hey, Olga, I'm fast shifty practitioner in training, will tap into love, help, or will this material be covered in the training? So the answer is, even though I use a lot of tools from fast shifty, it is not the same as a fast shifty training. The tools and things that I bring into this program are not covered in this training. And this particular method designed to help people with relationships, improving relationships with themselves, healing the past, releasing the programs. And this is what I specialize with. This is my zone of genius, and this is my life's purpose and work, and this is what I help people with. So the answer is no. Fast shifty skills will help, but the work that we do together is not the same as in the training. Third question has to do with, so it says, I think that all good guys are already taken. Anybody else feel the same? If they are available, there must be something wrong with them. Also, if I had a new relationship, it would have its own set of problems, maybe different than the problems in the previous relationship, but problems just the same. So I wouldn't just be swapping one set of problems for another set of problems. I wonder, as you guys reading it, if you're hearing what belief is there, right? So it's a very clear limiting belief that has to do with addiction to struggle, right? So the person who wrote this question believes that there will be trouble nonetheless, right? So relationships equal to trouble. So it's either you have a peaceful, single life, or you have a peaceful relationships. I want you guys to notice if you have this belief. It's very common. I have so many women coming to me and say, oh, I'm just so happy single, and if the guy comes into my life, it'll be worse. Go like, no, you can have both. You can have happy, wonderful partnership and peaceful life. As a matter of fact, when me and Ernie got married, everything improved in my life. It's easier for me to lose weight. It's good to have a supportive partner, somebody to come home and talk to. Financially, it's easier, right? Because it's there's two incomes. It's easy with household, and he's a great stepdad for my kids. It really could be much easier. So strive to create the kind of relationships with 1 + 1 = 100. Because what's happening with me and Ernie right now, my relationship with him improves and gives hope to others, right? So that's what you want to strive for. Notice your limiting beliefs and clear them. Question number 4 says, I really appreciate you and your kindness. I have been engaged for 3 years to a man. I broke up with him last week after finding out that he cheated while I was out of town. I'm so in love and I want to know where to start. He's on my mind and all day and night. I'm tapping and socializing, but I'm in a world of heartbreak. So this is a great question, guys, and it happens, you know, unfortunately, infidelity happens with all of us, and here's the truth. I mean, there are possibility that relationship can be repaired. Now, the question is this what you want, right? Another big question is that how you want to be loved, right? Do you want to be loved by somebody who doesn't truly love you? Because cheating, unfortunately, is not a sign of deep, committed love. So unless that person is coming back to you and say, listen, we're going to change everything, going to go and get good fast shifty practitioner, preferably Olga, you know, and tap it out and really change, it's okay. It's okay to let it go. It's okay that if this relationship has run its course. And there's 7.5 billion people on the planet, guys, and you just need one. You feel me? You need one, right? So release, let go, tap, it's okay. Go ahead and pop your questions, guys, if there's any in the box. I wanted to wrap up this session by reminding you that the only true currency is love. You can always make more money, friends, business, whatever those things are that you fill in your day with. Start paying attention to what's important. Of course, I'm a relationship coach. I always will tell you that love is important, but I also deeply believe that. I really, really do. And even though you might not see it now, one day you look back and you understand how much you wanted to expand in your love with the other. I wanted to inspire you and I wanted to encourage you to go and look for this love within, first of all, right? And then without when you're ready. Thank you so much. I'm going to check one last time for questions. And rather than that, guys, please make sure to grab that gift. The notes on that is in that chat box. And I hope to chat with you via email or initial consultation soon. I will be sending you an email with replay and all the links to take advantage of this offer and a free chat with me. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for joining, and you have a wonderful day, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, my pleasure.
Bye.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye.
Bye, Bonislava. I'll see you soon.
Okay, see you.